Today we're going to look at 8D, which is the sine rule. So we've talked about the cosine rule, and now let's talk about the sine. And there is what we call an ambiguous case with the sine rule, but we will not be discussing that in this video. So we're just going to learn the basics of the sine rule. So here is our formula. Notice the triangle is very similar to our area of a triangle and law of cosine or the sine, or excuse me, the cosine rule. A is opposite of A, B is opposite of B, C is opposite of C. So our formula is the sine of A over A is equivalent to the sine of B over B, which is also equivalent to the sine of C over C. So any combination of these two is your sine rule. And what you're going to do is you're going to set that proportion up, and then you will be able to cross multiply and solve for those missing parts. So if it is the sine rule, you're either given two angles in one side or two sides and a non included angle. So it's not a side angle side situation. You would just have two sides and then that non included side. And that would be a way that you can use the sine rule. So let's take a look at an example. It says to find the length of AC correct to two decimal places. So that's the value that I want to find. And so if you notice here, I have C, angle C and side C, and then I do have angle B, but I don't have angle or side B, excuse me. So we can say the sine of 39 over 12 is equal to the sine of 58 over x. And then because this is a proportion, all we need to do is cross multiply and solve. So we have x times the sine of 39 is equal to 12 times the sine of 58. And then to get our x by itself here, we would divide both sides by the sine of 39. And you can type this whole thing in your calculator. Again, make sure that you are in degrees. And then uh, when you type this into the calculator, when you hit sine, it's going to open a parenthesis. Just make sure to close the parenthesis before you hit the division bar to do the sine of 39. So when you type that in, you get correct to two decimal places is 16.17. And then our units is centimeters, and there is your answer. So AC is 16.17. Okay, let's also take a look at when we are missing an angle and it's asking us to find the angle measure. So in this case, we have to find ACB. So here is my theta. And I have my 37 and my 20 and my 15 and my theta. So I am going to have the sine of 37 over 20 is equal to the sine of theta over 15. And then we cross multiply, and you have 15 sine of 37 is equal to 20 sine of theta. We can divide by 20 on both sides. So I have 15 sine of 37 divided by 20 is equal to the sine of theta. And then remember, to get rid of the sine, we have to do the inverse sine so that it cancels. But if I do it on that side, I have to do it on this side. Now, what I caution you on, when you type this, you have to do second sine, and then you're going to go 15, and then just do normal sine. Don't do second sine. And then again, it's going to open a parenthesis on that 37. So write 37 and close your parenthesis, divided by 20, and you're going to get, correct to 3 sig fig, 26.8 degrees for theta. And that is how you apply the sine rule.